What would you do if one day, in a foreign country far from home, the police knocked on your door and accused you of kidnapping a child you loved like your own? What if no one believed you? Not the family you worked for. Not the neighbors. Not even the system? This is the story of Meera, a girl who left India with big dreams, and almost lost everything because of one accusation. Meera grew up in a small town in India where dreams were bigger than resources. Her father owned a small bookstall near the bus stand, and her mother stitched clothes late into the night to support the family. Meera studied under dim lights, determined to change her destiny. When she received a scholarship to study artificial intelligence in the United States, it felt like a miracle. The entire neighborhood celebrated. But the scholarship covered only tuition. Rent, food, insurance, and daily expenses were still her responsibility. Her father quietly sold a small piece of ancestral land to arrange money for her initial expenses. Before she left, her mother held her hands and said, "No matter how hard life becomes, never lose your dignity." America was nothing like she had imagined. She lived in a tiny basement apartment with 2 other students. She worked mornings at the university library and evenings at a cafe. Some nights, she slept only 4 hours. Still, money was not enough. That's when she found a job as a nanny for the Mitchell family. They lived in a large suburban house. Both parents were corporate professionals with packed schedules. Their 6-year-old son, Lucas, spent most of his time alone. Lucas was quiet and withdrawn at first. He barely spoke to strangers. But Meera was patient. She helped him with homework, told him stories about Indian festivals, and made small science experiments with him in the kitchen. Slowly, he began to smile again. Every afternoon, he waited by the door for her. One day he said softly, "You listen when I talk. Mommy and Daddy are always busy." Meera gently corrected him, telling him his parents loved him very much. But Mrs. Mitchell had overheard the conversation. From that day, her behavior toward Meera changed. She became distant. Comments became sharp. "Don't get too attached. Remember, you're here to work. Lucas needs his real family." Meera ignored the remarks. She needed the job. Her final semester exams were approaching, and losing income was not an option. Then came the day everything changed. It was the day of her most important university presentation, the one that would determine whether she kept her scholarship. She had requested to leave early that morning. Mrs. Mitchell agreed. But Lucas was unusually clingy that day. He refused to let her go. It took 20 extra minutes to calm him down. Finally, she rushed to campus, already late and anxious. Halfway through preparing her slides, campus security called her name. Outside, 2 police officers were waiting. Lucas was missing, and she was the last person alone with him. Within hours, suspicion turned into accusation. Mrs. Mitchell was hysterical. Mr. Mitchell was furious. "You filled his head with stories," they said. "You made him dependent on you." Police searched her apartment. Her phone was checked. Her immigration documents were reviewed. Her student visa was flagged. The university temporarily suspended her academic standing until the investigation was complete. News headlines appeared online. International students suspected in child disappearance. Her phone filled with hateful messages. She kept repeating the same sentence. "I would never hurt him." But no one wanted to believe her. Because of the interrogation, she missed half of her presentation. Her professor warned her that failure would cost her scholarship. Her father called from India. For the first time in her life, she heard him cry. "Come back home, Beta. We don't need this." She could have left. She could have protected herself. Instead, she joined the search. Through cold evenings and heavy rain, she walked street after street, calling Lucas's name. Even when strangers whispered about her. even when cameras followed her face. 3 days later, the truth finally surfaced. Security footage from a nearby amusement park showed Lucas following a street magician who had been performing outside the gates. Fascinated, he wandered off trying to find him again and got lost. No kidnapping. No conspiracy. Just a child chasing curiosity. Lucas was found safe at a nearby community shelter. The charges against Mira were dropped immediately. Her visa was restored. The university cleared her name. But something inside her had changed. The Mitchell family apologized. Mr. Mitchell admitted they had judged her too quickly. Mrs. Mitchell broke down in tears. Weeks later, they held a small public event and acknowledged their mistake. They even set up a small scholarship fund for international students struggling financially. Mira completed her degree with distinction. Years later, she built a successful career, helping students from small towns access global education. But she never forgot that moment when the world doubted her character. And she never forgot her mother's words. Never lose your dignity. Sometimes, the world will question your intentions. Sometimes, people will believe lies before they believe your truth. But if your heart is clean and your courage is strong, one day, the same world that accused you will stand up and admit they were wrong.